Do you find yourself in a creative rut? Well, don't worry, we all do from time to time. But I have a few ideas that will help you climb right out of that rut and back into your creative flow. Doing something entirely new using completely different tools than we usually use in the studio will be a great way to get your imagination flowing. You can use any kind of thing, but here I'm using a plastic fork dipped into paint. Different tools will give you very different marks, and that will stimulate your thinking about what you can do with those marks. The important thing is not to feel like you are drawing something or painting something or coming out with a particular outcome, but you're just playing. You're playing with new tools, new ideas, and seeing what can happen. I kind of liked how this feather worked. Guess it's a lot like a brush, but it is a little bit less controlled. It might be kind of fun to do a small painting just with a feather. I also wanted to try using a Q-tip, and I liked that. I also liked the little dots I could make. I also wanted to try some very unconventional materials in my artistic play. So you can see that I saved some eggshells and then I rolled them out so that I could crush them pretty small. And then I'm going to apply them onto paper, just a watercolor paper. I'm going to glue these shells down with two different things. First, I'm going to use Mod Podge. This will dry pretty clear and it kind of looks a little bit like Elmer's glue when you put it down. I'm sprinkling on my eggshells and then I'm putting on another coat because it looked like they probably wouldn't stick. Now that needs to dry, and then I'm going to try using gesso. So this is a grand experiment. We'll see which one works best. So we'll just have to see. I'm doing this the very same way. You could use all kinds of things. You don't have to use eggshells. You could use sand. You could use little pebbles. You could use many different things as long as it's adhered. So these have dried, and now I'm going to try using some acrylic paint. This one is the Mod Podge one, and you can see it dried pretty clear. It's taking the paint okay. I don't know if I would say it's taking the paint better than gesso though. I think gesso will take the paint better. I'm also going to use a little sponge to blot, and we'll see if that gives an interesting effect. Now this is the one I did with gesso. I think it's going to take the paint better. I have added the paint and now I'm going to spray it with a little bit of water, and then I'm going to let that run a little bit. Letting it run by moving around the paper as I am takes it a little bit out of control, and that's kind of interesting. Those moments where you are not in control give you some interesting effects. There are tons of possibilities here. This is when your imagination can take over and just imagine some new things that you've never tried before. The next thing I want to mention to you is using India ink or waterproof ink. For this, I actually used, again, watercolor paper, and I put some blobs of ink down, and then I used a drinking straw and blew it around. Now, obviously, you cannot control that, and so that makes it kind of fun. While the ink is still wet, you can use clear water and pull it alongside, and it will bleed in, which is beautiful. We're using India ink because it is waterproof, and you can then add watercolor afterward and it won't bleed into it as long as it's already dry. This is something you can just have a lot of fun with. It doesn't look like anything, and that makes it kind of interesting. Takes the pressure off. Of course, if you want to, you can go back in with an ink pen of some sort and add some features and make it look like something. If you've been in a creative rut, just give some of these things a try. Have fun, play with them. Creative play and exploration is really your path forward out of the rut. Hey, if you want a few more ideas to get unstuck, I have a download for you. Just check out the link below. And while you're here, please be sure to subscribe to my channel.